Okay, so here we're going to look at multiplying radicals once again. There's some stuff in sixth period that we figured out, or that someone mentioned, like how to do this, and it's a nice way. Lots of people in sixth period liked it, so I'm going to show you that way to simplify radicals in this video also. So the first example, we have a radical 6 on the outside, a 6 radical 6 plus 3 on the inside, and we're just going to distribute. Now, when you multiply, first, if there's nothing in front, there's a 1, and you multiply the coefficients, they stay on the outside. You multiply the insides, and they stay on the inside of the radical. So those are our two main ideas, and that's what we're going to do. So here, 1 times 6, that's just 6. And then the square root of 6 times the square root of 6. We multiply the insides, and then keep on the inside. So here we'll have 36, right? Square root of 36. So I did 6 times 6, and I left it on the inside. And then now I'll do this, the 1 root 6 times the 3. This is just a regular number. If it had a square root, then it would be a coefficient, but we're just going to have 3 times 1. So we have plus 3, and there is nothing here, so it's just like that. It's just as if we did 1x times 3. That would be 3x as an example. So there we go. We have this. So multiply the outsides, keep them on the outside. Multiply the insides, keep them on the inside. And then reduce. Now this one is easy, really, really easy to reduce. We just have 6. The square root of 36 is 6. And then 3 root 6. That one doesn't reduce, but we can try. If we had 6, we can break it down to 2 times 3. And there are no pairs, so we can't reduce that. If we had 36, that's just 6 times 6. We already knew that, but this is 2 times 3 and 2 times 3. The way that we were doing it in sixth period was, if ever you have a pair, you take it outside, and I have another pair, you take it outside. So on the outside, and there's nothing left over. There's nothing on the inside, so this is just 6, just like we did here. Right? That's where that came from. And then I just multiply the rest of it. 6 times 6 is 36 plus 3 root 6. We're definitely going to do another one. But that would be the answer, as simplified as you can get. Example 2. So, well, first, multiply the coefficients on the outside, keep them on the outside. The second is multiply the insides, keep it on the inside. And then reduce at the end. So let's look at example 2. So here we have the square root of 5 times the square root of 3 plus 4. Immediately I'm going to put a coefficient of 1 and 1 right there. So what do I have? I have 1 times 1, simply just 1. And then I'm doing this right now. 1 times 1 is 1. The square root of 5 times the square root of 3. Remember, you multiply the insides. That's just 15. And then now I'm going to multiply over here. The 1 times the 4 is the 4, so plus 4. And then the square root of 5, you just leave it there. Let's try and reduce this. So with the 15, can I reduce the 15? That would be 5 and 3. Are there any pairs? No, so I cannot reduce the square root of 15. So the answer is just the square root of 15. You could have the 1 out in front, but you don't need it. Plus 4 times the square root of 5. I cannot break down the 5 because that's just 5 times 1, and there aren't any pairs there. Let's move on to example 3. So the first thing that we do, I'm just going to put a 1 coefficient in front of all of these, and then I'll multiply. So here I have negative 1 times 1. That would be negative 1. And then I multiply the insides of the radical. 6 times 3 is 18, so I have the square root of 18 there. And then same idea over here. Negative 1 times negative 1 is negative 1. Square root of 18. Okay, we could have simplified first, but well, then I'm just following the instructions that we had. So I multiply the insides of the radicals, keep them on the inside, multiply the coefficients, keep them on the outside, reduce at the end. So let's just reduce each one of these separately. Really, I'm doing the same thing twice, right? If I reduce that, I've also reduced that. So 18, that's 9 times 2, that's 3 times 3. And the way you simplify this is, if you have pairs, they go on the outside. You take it out. If you have something just by itself, that stays on the inside. So here we have -1. The 3 was a pair, so that comes out times 3. And then the inside is just 2 now, right? And then -1, and we do the same thing, right? Because we break down the 18, we have all of this all over again. And we have just one single 3 coming out, and then the 2 is left over on the inside. I'll multiply the outsides, so I just get -3 square root of 2 minus 3 square root of 2. Now these are actually like terms. It's almost the same as similar to -3x minus 3x. That's going to be -6x, right? You just add up the -3 plus the -3. They're both negative, so the answer is negative. So in this case, to simplify, we just add like terms, and that would be -3 square root of, sorry, -6, isn't it? -6 square root of 2. So that's the answer there. And that's all that you're doing, really, this whole time. Cool. Hopefully that makes sense. I'm going to do one more example in this video, and then we'll move on to stuff with variables. So again, first thing I'm going to do is put in my coefficients, and it's just a single coefficient this time, and then I will distribute. Remember, you multiply the outsides, 2 times 1, and so we get, maybe you should pause this and try it on your own. 2 times 1 is 2, and then you multiply the insides. 10 times 15, that's 150 on the inside there, and then multiply this. That's, well, just multiply the outsides. 2 times 5, that's 10. So plus 10, and then keep the square root of 10 there, right? Okay, so then what have we here? What do we do? Well, we try to simplify. I'm going to take the 150, and I'm looking for pairs. Anytime I find a pair, I take a single one out. That's the new way of doing it that someone told me about in third period, fifth period, sixth period, whatever. 15 times 10, we already know that. And then we have 3 times 5, and we also have 5 times 2, right? And then here we go. Here's a pair. So we take out a single 5. So we already have that 2 on the outside. We leave that there. We take out the 5 because it was a pair. And then on the inside, neither of those are pairs. So I'll leave a 3 and a 2 on the inside. So that would be 3 times 2. That would be 6 on the inside. And then 10, can I reduce that? 10, that's just 5 and 2. No pairs. So I can't reduce that. So this is just 10 root 10. And what do I have here? 10 square root. I'm multiplying. That'd be 6 plus 10 root 10. And that's all I got. Next one will be with variables, and it should be not that bad. Should be easy. We'll see. Cool. Goodbye.